With me is Scott Gress from Naveena, and I'm really happy to have Scott. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Happy to be here. Thanks for taking the time.
Where are you?
I'm at my home in New Canaan, Connecticut.
In Connecticut. Cool, cool.
Yeah, I grew up here. I've lived here with the exception of 4 years at Philadelphia Textile and 11 years in Manhattan afterwards. I've lived in Connecticut my whole life.
Wow,
No,
wow.
I was born in Brooklyn, lived there for 6
Brooklyn. So you're a Brooklyn boy.
months.
Why don't you
Memories are fleeting.
tell our audience a little bit about your past and your relationship with textiles?
Sure. I grew up in New Canaan, as I said, in a textile family. My father was a gray goods broker back when they had such a thing. And I went to the Philadelphia College of Textiles and Science, and I graduated, and I took my first job with a company called Graniteville, which was at the time, it sounds oxymoronic now, but a Fortune 500 textile company and a producer of denim and twills. And so I worked there and kind of learned the whole denim industry, and eventually went and joined up with my father, who was doing gray goods. That whole industry over a short period of time disappeared, and we kind of just kept morphing into the next thing. And I've been now working back in the denim industry for many, many years, probably close to 30, with a number of different companies, but I've been with Naveena for about the past 15 years.
That's great. Can you tell us a little bit about Naveena?
Sure. Naveena is a large fabric-only denim manufacturer in Pakistan. It's made up of two different sort of companies, but both are under the same ownership, and everybody gets along very, very well. We are the industry that's in Karachi. We make about 18 million meters of fabric a year, completely vertical from fiber through finished product, finished fabric. We export to about 40 different countries, but our major markets are the United States first and foremost, and then Europe.
Okay. So we talked about, before we did this interview, we talked about questions that we're going to ask, and they said we're going to talk about where you guys have been, where you are now, and where you're going. So why don't you start? And if I have any questions, I'll interrupt you.
Sounds great. Before we had the COVID-19 pandemic and all of the horrible things that have gone on with that, and I hope everybody's surviving it and enduring, we decided that our overarching goal and our theme for the next seasons to come is going to be generosity, which is all about how we've gone from, in a sustainable world where sustainability was about holding back. It was about how do we save and how do we create efficiency and productivity and scarcity of both raw materials and our uses of energy and things like that. And now we're looking at it more in a positive light of abundance. It's the abundance of kindness. It's human virtues. It's the generosity. It's generosity of caring for others and the spirit and the human spirit. And how do we bring that to and how do we bring that to our new line of fabrics, and how does that inform us? So we have been very successful in the past couple of years. I think we've had our most successful product development years in a couple of areas. One is something which is a proprietary spinning concept we came up with called Wrap Tech, which is a super high stretch, but very, very low growth product range. It's easy to stretch, and yet because it has such recovery, it moves with your skin. So it's very, very comfortable. And it's been well received by everybody. We went to a line of product we called Fusion, which was a soft product imparted by fibers. So models and tencels and rayons and things like that. We had Retro Tech, which was our authentic look. And we had Horizon, which was our sustainability line. And we think maybe the most sustainable denim fabric produced today. So all of that's been successful. And now when we look at how it's informed by generosity and what we do moving forward. So this year we've come up with 5 basic categories for how we're going to present the new concepts. Now, because of the COVID, we're going to have to truncate that a lot, I think, because we're going to be showing our fabrics, I think, digitally as much as anything for the coming season. But we've got what we call Science in the Blues, and that is our high stretch fabrics. That's the Wrap Tech, what we call Flexi Tech, which is also a sort of a body hugging concept. Reflex, which is a four-way stretch with great recovery, and Stretch In, which is super low growth. We're trying to get growth down as close to zero as we can. Cozy Blues, which is all about our softness. It's the fusion that we talked about before, which is the fibers. It's Lush, which is our brush back fabrics. Excuse me. And the next category is Throwback Blues. So that's more our authentic thing. We were able to come up with a fabric this year that absolutely looks and seems like a 1950s Levi 501, but has 30 to 40% stretch. So I think it took us about 18 trials, and we were on it for almost a year and a half, but we've done that, and so that'll be part of it. An area we call transmutation, which is our sustainable area. So we're going to see fabrics made of hemp, which we call Canna denim. And we're going to see Zevolution, which is our zero cotton denims. You're going to see products with Biosphere, which is a biodegradable polyester. You were going to have PLA, polylactic acid fabrics, which are biodegradable. And we're going to have BioRoika, which is a biodegradable stretch elastane fabric. And then we're going to have all about function. So we'll have, that's where you'll see Cool Max and Thermalite, and an area we call Refresh, which is silver infused. So in this world, really special. It's antimicrobial. It's odorless. So you wash your jeans less. If you think about it, a jean uses most of its water after it walks out of the store. So the less we can wash them, the better off we are in terms of sustainability as well. And then we have something we call Remedy, which is copper infused denim, which you get all the mystical healing powers of copper and antimicrobial functions there as well. So that's kind of where we're headed this next season.
Great. Well, that's good for everyone to know and to listen to. Is there anything else that I should be asking you, or that you think it's important to express?
No, I think that we're in an important time, both in how we're going to be able to show our product to our customers. And we're working on digitally formatting everything. How are we going to come up with a way that you can virtually see our fabrics, as well as we can send the line to people and they'll be able to look at it, and they'll be able to, and then we're going to have Zoom conferences. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot less travel, I think, because of what's going on for the next couple of months for sure. I don't know if that's going to become a wave of the future. I tend to think not. We're such a tactile, touch it, feel it, explain it industry, but we're going to have to address that.
Yeah, I think there'll be some changes, and maybe not as many as people are talking about. I know that my job has always been about going places and meeting people, not necessarily Zooming them.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, when you talk about fabric, it is about comfort. It's about feeling it and touching it and seeing it in all of its iterations and its washes. And so it's not easy to do digitally. I think it's going to create more difficulties than people see. So I think we're going to end up doing as much meeting as soon as the coast is clear, so to speak, as we did in the past.
I agree with that. Well, thank you, Scott. I really appreciate it. Quick question for you before we go. Do you think we'll be doing a show in Amsterdam in October?
I do. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do think that by then we'll be, ahead of the curve, so to speak. I think we'll know a lot more about the disease and how it affects people and who's had it and who hasn't had it. So that'll all inform us too. We'll see, but we're super excited about what we've got going on.
Cool.
And, we're trying to bring value and a value proposition to a market that needs innovation constantly. So we think we've got some really good offerings this year.
Thank you, Scott. All the best wishes to you and to Naveena.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Take care, Scott. Bye.
Take care.